in-depth, investigative. This is KXAN News Today.
A live look for you this morning as we are tracking the weather. Later on, you may see some Texas Department of Transportation crews out and about.
Yeah, starting at 8 this morning, they will begin to pre-treat bridges and elevated structures ahead of that possible severe winter weather. City leaders will also open cold weather shelters on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday nights. There will be free bus rides for those needing to get to the registration site at One Texas Center on Barton Springs Road. Registration will start on those days at 5 in the evening.
On top of this, it is a windy start to the day as the first of two cold fronts is now here. Thanks for joining us. I'm Tom Miller.
And I'm Dylan McKim. Meteorologist Kristen joins us here. We could see some storms, low temperatures, and a whole lot of wind here.
Yeah, today is going to be the start of a very active weather pattern. Along with local preparations, the governor is speaking at 9:30 this morning to discuss the state's response to the severe winter weather conditions, because we know if we're going to get it on Sunday, there's going to be areas to the north that get it much sooner. Let me start with what's happening this morning. Cold front is moving away from us, seeing a little delay in some of the colder air, but the winds certainly came through. I'm sure some of you noticed the winds picking up overnight. Still very windy out there this morning. As a reminder, a wind advisory is in place until 1 p.m. this afternoon for wind gusts 40 to maybe even 55 miles per hour. It's going to get nasty here with those winds and those temperatures dropping. Here's what it looks like up in Georgetown, courtesy of our Ewell Kubota weather camera. Clear skies. We're going to actually see a good amount of sunshine through the day today. But look at your current wind gusts, over 40 miles per hour in Dripping Springs and Burnet, over 30 miles per hour. Mason, Llano, Austin, Georgetown. I mean, that's a noticeable wind. We're going to be keeping an eye on these wind gusts for the next several hours. They'll eventually lighten up, though, getting into the back end of today. From the 40s, we go to the 50s today, not the 70s we had yesterday. Yesterday was unseasonably warm. I hope you enjoyed it, because it's going to take a little bit for those to get back in the forecast. It's not going to happen anytime soon. Rain coverage, not something I'm anticipating today, not something I'm anticipating tomorrow, but Sunday into Monday, we have not rain chances, but precipitation chances, because there's the possibility that this doesn't completely fall as liquid. Wintry mix update for you coming up in your first warning forecast.
Thank you very much, Kristen, for checking all of that and tracking that storm coming in here. From his hospital bed, the Austin College student who was attacked by a stranger with a machete is speaking for the first time following the brutal random attack. He undergoes surgery today to repair damage to his arms.
Yeah, these terrifying moments happened Tuesday at one of Austin's most popular spots. And as KXAN's Grace Reeder explains, the victim's message may surprise you.
I guess I just thought at that point that I was just going to die, but I didn't.
We're hearing for the first time from the 19-year-old who was attacked by a man with a machete at Auditorium Shores Tuesday. The Austin Police Department has identified the suspect as 24-year-old Ashton Talley. The victim, Gregory Seth Gott, spoke to us from his hospital bed.
He gets up and he's over me and he just keeps swinging at me. So I'm just kind of rolling around on the ground, trying not to get hit the best I can. But at this point, my hands they looked like they were like falling off my arms. So there wasn't much I could do.
But Gott says he wants the focus of this story to be on the good that happened next. During the attack, a bystander who KXAN talked to earlier this week called out to the suspect. It was enough to draw him away from Gott.
I was laying there on the ground. There was just so much blood everywhere. I was pretty confident that I was not going to survive. But the people around all came to me and tied up my wounds, and they, talked me through it as the ambulance was coming here and kept me calm and awake.
An affidavit released Thursday indicated those people who stepped in to stop the bleeding may have saved his life.
It's really easy to feel kind of alone, but when something like this happens, so many people from all over the place, people that I barely even know, come together to help me.
And community members who weren't there physically have stepped in financially. There's a GoFundMe for Gott. As of midday, it has nearly reached its $10,000 goal.
I think it's important to show that even when there is a person who is capable of so much evil, that there are hundreds more good people for every person like that who will be there to help.
Grace Reeder, KXAN News.
It is a remarkable story, and we're grateful the community is stepping up. That suspect is charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and 1 count of evading arrest. Again, we have that link to GOT's GoFundMe on our website, and those donations are going to help with medical bills. That's over at KXAN.com. Going in depth, it is not illegal to carry a machete here in Texas. In September 2017, a new state law removed prohibitions on certain knives. Anyone 18 and older can lawfully carry a knife, a machete, a saber, a spear, a sword, or another blade. Since that law, there is no such thing as an illegal knife in Texas, but there are location-restricted knives banned from certain places. Also this morning, a man is in jail after Hays County deputies say he shot and killed his relative. Found a man dead in a Kyle home on Wednesday morning.
The suspect, Steven Rodriguez, is charged with aggravated assault causing serious bodily injury, as well as violating bond conditions. Deputies are not exactly sure yet how the two are related, but says they're family.
There's a lot of things that are still ongoing to try to figure out what happened, why it happened.
Law enforcement says the investigation is still ongoing and additional charges may be added later. Well, 3 Austin SWAT officers cleared of doing anything wrong, the case that was brought against them.
Some say it is needed, others say it isn't fair. Debate over the Texas teacher merit pay program. Hey, good morning. It is Friday, January 12th, as we take a live look outside. This is up in Georgetown from our Ewald Kubota camera. Pretty quiet this early on I-35. Travis County Special Grand Jury has cleared 3 Austin Police SWAT officers of doing anything wrong. This trio was being investigated after a shooting last year.
Yeah, back on November 11th, police say Ahmed Nasser shot and killed 2 family members before firing at officers during a SWAT standoff. Investigators say he killed APD officer Jorge Pastor and injured another officer. APD SWAT officers Jared Caruth and Kevin Olihar and SWAT Sergeant Kevin De La Rue then shot Nasser multiple times, killing him. In a statement, Travis County District Attorney Jose Garza said the officers should be commended for their acts of bravery and courage. A pilot and co-pilot are expected to be okay this morning after their helicopter crashed while conducting a Border Patrol flight.
Yeah, it happened near Del Rio, and during this flight, the crew experienced a total loss of power. It entered into an auto-rotative descent and landed. That crash injured the co-pilot, and the helicopter is badly damaged. The National Transportation Safety Board and Federal Aviation Administration are currently investigating. Governor Abbott says the state is more prepared than ever to avoid the worst of our winter worries. But the question remains, will the power stay on?
Plus, children lured online and sometimes in person. How a local school district are teaching about the dangers of human trafficking.
Good morning. A very important piece to the Longhorns football program announced his return on Thursday. We'll tell you who it is later in sports. Keep it in.
Good morning. Another live look from Georgetown as we're kicking off this Friday morning here on KXAN News Today. Hope you're enjoying some nice, quiet, relaxing time before the hustle and bustle of the last day of the work week really gets going. Texans bracing for frigid temperatures early next week, and a lot of us are wondering, will the power stay on? Governor Greg Abbott says the state is more prepared than ever to avoid the worst of our winter worries.
ERCOT says the chances of rolling blackouts is low, but officials are still preparing for the worst case scenarios. KXAN's Ryan Chandler explains what you need to know.
It's become an annual concern for Texans. Are they going to stay warm, and are their lights going to stay on? What do they need to know this time around?
Well, they need to know that this cold front is not expected to be as difficult or as bad as the one in February of 2021. I think the weatherization requirements for the electric power plants have certainly helped.
Since this freeze nearly 3 years ago, Texas has performed more than 1,500 inspections of power plants. State leaders are more confident than ever.
Texas and the grid are better prepared than we've ever been.
I think it's just a bit of a different storm, but that doesn't mean we might not have issues.
We're not out of the cold quite yet. ERCOT predicts a nearly 1 in 6 chance of rolling blackouts if conditions are as severe as the December 2022 storm.
That one was not nearly as bad as February of 21, when ERCOT's own math said it was only a 1 in 20 chance of rolling blackouts. You know, once again, as we play ERCOT weather roulette, if we come up a loser, we come up a loser no matter what the governor says.
The good news is it shouldn't be as bad this time.
It'll be a drier event. We're not expecting that much precipitation. We should be able to more easily get around to fix things should they break.
Experts stress we all carry the weight of the grid. They say, don't ignore the calls to conserve if times get tight.
If 10% of the state were to do that, that might provide enough leeway for the entirety of the grid to operate without rolling blackouts.
Ryan Chandler, KXAN News.
Going in depth, AAA Texas is cautioning you to take extra steps to protect your car in advance of possible sub-freezing temperatures. It says dead batteries are among their most popular service requests during the winter months. Experts say oil in cars thickens when outdoor air cools down, meaning parts start moving slower. Car batteries require more power to turn over to start your engine. Now, we have more information on this and what to look out for and steps drivers can take to protect their car this winter. That's all online on our website at KXAN.com. I think a big thing we want to talk about is, transportation department, they're going to start treating the roads. Last year, we saw the roads freeze around this time when, the last winter storm we had. But this year, it's going to be just a lot of cold weather, now a lot of freezing rain coming down. But you are tracking some rain.
Yeah, some of that. And that's the concern, is it only takes a little bit. Yeah. I mean, you were out there during those winter storms. You saw this firsthand, and we've covered this over and over again. People try and do it, and unfortunately, it doesn't end well. Let me show you what's going on outside. Our West Shore home camera on top of the studio showing clear skies, 61 degrees. You're probably thinking, what in the world? Why is it so warm out there? Well, the winds came in, but there's a little delay in some of the colder air. You can slowly start to see it approaching San Saba right now. So these 50s and 60s, although they're significantly warmer than where we were right now compared to yesterday, they're not going to last. That cold front comes in, drops our temperatures down to the 40s late morning. We're only looking at a high of 56 today, and it will be a cold night, a near widespread freeze getting into tomorrow morning. That being said, the wind's the biggest deal today. Winds out of the northwest gusting 35 up to about 55 miles per hour through this morning into the early afternoon. Lighter winds expected by mid-afternoon into the evening here. So first half of the day, very heavy with the winds. Later this afternoon, sunshine and cool temperatures. Let's talk about the changes this weekend. Tomorrow, overall, a nice day. It starts cold, but we get back to the 60s, mix of sun and clouds. Tomorrow will be your last day to get any of those last minute preparations done, because the cold front is now likely to move in late Saturday night, meaning cold air's in place by Sunday morning. Let's talk about it, because this is the first cold front. There's kind of a little secondary push here that comes in once we get into Monday. But Sunday is going to be cloudy. It's going to be windy. It's going to be very cold. And there's not an impossibility. We see a couple spots of freezing drizzle and freezing rain beginning Sunday evening. More likely to see that Sunday night into Monday. Now you'll notice this has pretty good coverage of it, but the intensity will be very light. Not a whole lot of lift with this system. So we're not anticipating, a quarter inch of ice, but all it takes is just a little bit. I'm most concerned about the bridges, the overpasses, those elevated surfaces, the flyovers that we have across central Texas, but that's why TxDOT is starting to treat those today. The greatest icing risk likely to be in the Hill Country and the Austin Metro. Again, late Sunday into Monday morning. Still anticipating the wind chill to be the biggest deal. By Saturday night, our wind chills are sub-freezing in the Hill Country. It gets so much worse than that, though. By Sunday morning, feeling like teens and 20s. But like I said, there's going to be a secondary push of colder air here. temperatures. So yes, we're stuck with the cold temperatures Sunday and Monday. But as we get a little further into the weekend and beyond, we're talking wind chills down to the single digits, if not sub-zero, by Tuesday morning here in Central Texas. When the kids go back to the classroom, go back to school after the holiday on Monday, it is going to be dangerously cold. 7-day forecast, 50, sunshine, windy today. Tomorrow, like I said, last day to get anything done, because once you wake up Sunday morning, that cold air is here. 20% chance of a wintry mix with light to minor accumulations as we get into Sunday night and Monday. Highs will stay in the 30s. Your overnights in the teens and 20s, feeling much colder because the wind will eventually shake this by Wednesday midday. High temperatures above freezing as we get into Wednesday afternoon.
Thank you, Kristen. This week, Austin leaders recognized a local hero who made the ultimate sacrifice. City Council member Mackenzie Kelly officially declared January 11th as Graham Dale Day. We've told you about Dale before. He's a former Austin resident who died last month at 45 years old. He traveled to Ukraine to help in its efforts against Russia's invasion. Dale was a respected member of the United States Marine Corps and the Jollyville Fire Department. In a statement, Kelly said, quote, Graham Dale embodied the true spirit of selflessness and community service. His legacy will forever remind us of the importance of standing up for our beliefs and working toward a better world.
Some teachers say they love a program where the state rewards teachers for their efforts in the classroom with bonuses, but others say they're uneasy about it.
It was about 4 years ago that this rolled out. Some teachers saying the Texas Merit Program isn't inclusive of all teachers and that it promotes hostile competition and resentment. Some new data obtained by the Wall Street Journal shows far less than 1% of Texas teachers make six figures, and more than half of school districts haven't joined the program. Some claim the requirement process is difficult, and there are fears the money will run out. News Nation talked to Stephanie Stobie, a teacher in Round Rock ISD, and she welcomes the idea of extra pay, but says the current program isn't fair, with merit pay ranging from $3,000 to $30,000.
I've been teaching for 20 years. I have 8 certifications here in Texas. I was the 2012 Texas Secondary Teacher of the Year, National Board Certified. Am I not worthy of an additional up to $30,000?
Eric Hale teaches second grade in Dallas and has been recognized on national levels. He says the merit program elevates teachers' performances.
Oh, you're wonderful. You've been teaching 25 years. What does that have to do with anything? Have you been successful for 25 years? Have you been impactful? And number one, can you prove it?
You can see some very different viewpoints. News Nation reached out to the TEA, which oversees that program, but it has not yet responded.
This is KXAN Sports, brought to you by Thomas J. Henry.
Good morning. Texas quarterback Quinn Ewers quelled a lot of rumors and sparked a lot of excitement by dropping this video on Thursday. In it, Ewers announced that he's returning for a third year with the Longhorns. It was the same story for Ewers as the rest of the team. He took a big step forward this past season. Ewers threw 22 touchdown passes, threw for 3,479 yards, and only threw 6 interceptions, all while helping the Longhorns make their first ever appearance in the college football playoff. He was also named the most outstanding player of the Big 12 title game, which Texas won. Next season will be Ewers' junior year. So it's now official. Fans will get to see Ewers as well as Arch Manning and plenty of other returning and new Longhorns at the spring game, which was officially announced to take place on April 20th on Thursday. As always, the orange and white game will be free and Bevo Boulevard will be open, so you get the full game day experience should you choose to attend. They have not announced a kickoff time yet, just the date. Texas opens the season August 31st at Royal Texas Memorial Stadium against Colorado State, by the way. And also in some other college football news, former Texas quarterback Casey Thompson is announced that he is committing to Oklahoma to play his 7th season of college football. Thompson played for Texas, then transferred to Nebraska, then transferred to Florida Atlantic before now going to Oklahoma. That's it for sports. Let's go back over to you.
Thank you, Jonathan. The NFL playoffs are underway this weekend, and that always means the unexpected is in store. But there's one certainty on game day that you can count on, which is that bright yellow line showing where the first down is. This year, the technology that fans have come to rely on is 25 years old. This morning on Today, Harry Smith going to show you the incredible evolution of the yellow line. If you can believe it, TV broadcasters were initially skeptical of the technology, but a Sunday Night Football executive producer recalls the moment that he became a believer.
When I went into their truck and saw the yellow line and saw it, in real context of football and the game, it was a no-brainer. This was going to be additive for the viewers.
Tune in to Today to see how that simple little line became a groundbreaking technological innovation that changed the way we watch the game. How would we know where the first down is without it?
You wouldn't.
For those listening in on the KXAN Today podcast, thanks for joining us. Here's what we're tracking at 5. Hear from the 19-year-old recovering from an unprovoked machete attack in downtown Austin. He is now sharing about his recovery.